We'll see. Really? Let me try this again. That's okay. This is just like investing. We get into it, and some days it just doesn't work out too well. So, everybody, welcome to today's live stream. Unfortunately, we're having a little bit of issues with the connection here, but that is just par for the course. But when things don't go right, you just plow through. So, everybody, what I was talking about is Ripple and XRP. We actually had talked about this a couple of days ago when it came to light that Ripple had actually won the case against the SEC. And when I took a look at, it was actually an article from Jungle Inc. And it was going over just how much they were being fined, 125 million, how there was further altercations. We don't know if it was actually going to go through an appeal process. I kind of dismissed it and said, you know what? I don't really see how this is a big win. But boy, was I wrong. And what we're going to do today is there was a great interview. And it was with Stuart Alderati. This is from MSNBC. And Stuart here, if you don't know, is the Ripple head of legal counsel. And he was one that was pretty much responsible for handing Gary Gensler yet another loss in court. So we're going to go over 4 pieces that he talked about here. And I broke it down. And it's just a great play on what is actually happening. Now, when we take a look and we read through these articles and go over the information, it's great. But I like to hear it from the horse's mouth. That would be Stuart. And what is really actually going on, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I am not a lawyer. So I'd like to hear exactly what it was that went on, how big of a win this potentially is, and what is next for XRP and Ripple moving forward. So the first piece here is it's about a couple minutes long. And he's going to go over a couple different things. One of those he talks about is XRP a security, how this actually worked out, and what the actual fine means for the company. And then later on, he's going to actually get into just talking about how, frankly, it's either corruption or it is incompetence on the SEC side. So for the first piece here, just take a listen. This is about 2 minutes or so. Listen to what Stuart has to say. This is pretty good.
We're feeling really good about it. Ripple, when it was first sued by the SEC almost 4 years ago, said that we were going to defend this case, not only on our own behalf, but on behalf of the entire crypto industry. This administration, with this SEC under this chair, has clearly taken an anti-crypto stance and has engaged in a war on crypto that's playing out in the courts. I think they lost on everything that was important to them. trying to establish that a token itself, in this case XRP, can be considered a security was soundly rejected by the court. And what the court said is a token is never a security in and of itself, just like a bar of gold is never a security. You can certainly package commodities or virtual currencies up and sell them as securities, but they're not securities in and of themselves. And that's the core clarity that we sought in this case. And the establishing that XRP is not in and of itself a security is the law of the land. What the judge did find is that certain historical sales, beginning around 2015, the way that those sales were packaged with sophisticated third parties, they should have been registered under the securities laws. And that's the piece of the decision that we respect. The judge rejected a $2 billion ask from the SEC because she found that Ripple didn't act recklessly. We didn't act with any intention to defraud anybody. And in fact, there were no victims. The counterparties to those transactions suffered no financial loss at all. But staying true to the law, since there was a technical violation of the failure to register those historical sales, she did impose a fine of $125 million. That's something that we will pay with cash off of our balance sheet, and we look forward to moving forward. And hopefully this turns a page, not only for Ripple, but also hopefully finally this administration will turn the page on their war on crypto and hit the reset button.
Let's talk about
Sorry, we're going to get into that whole reset button in a bit, but I got to tip my cap to Stuart Alderati for coming on the show and saying, yeah, you know what? There was a part in there, technically, yes, we messed up, and we're going to pay for that. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to make this pretty clear. It's not like it's coming out of Stuart's pocket. It's not coming out of Brad Garlinghouse's personal pockets. That's coming out of the company's pocket. And the company was funded by who? You, me, all of us. Also, for the institutional investors that actually got in. So when we take a look at it, like, yeah, get them. We're paying for that. And I have no problems with that because they are the ones that had to stand up to the SEC when other exchanges and individuals did not do those things, and they punched the bully in the mouth like they were supposed to. Hats off. That's how you deal with bullies. So I like that piece where he talks about, and I want to play this one part again to really hit it home about what is considered a security and or not. Now, I will tell you right now, if Gary comes on the show, which is an open invite, he can come anytime he wants to. Don't think he's going to make it. That, of course, he will say that everything is a security. Everything is a security out there in crypto world. Maybe not Bitcoin, potentially not Ethereum, but we'll see. But he will say, absolutely, it absolutely is. This is not what the courts have said. And this is just the truth. So I'm going to play this one piece again. Starts at 5 minutes. And just take a listen to this just one more time. Let this sink in about gold and commodities and so on and so forth.
That was important to them. Trying to establish that a token itself, in this case XRP, can be considered a security was soundly rejected by the court. And what the court said is a token is never a security in and of itself, just like a bar of gold is never a security. You can certainly package commodities or virtual currencies up and sell them as securities, but they're not securities in and of themselves. And that's the core clarity that we sought in this case. And
right. So great. That's all I want you guys to hear, just to kind of get that out there. So hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and this will be precedent, and we will move forward. So speaking of which, the next question then is this, and the host asked a pretty good question, which is, well, is this really over? Because this has been 3.5+ years. Is this really the last straw, or is there something to actually come through? So just take a listen to this. This is in about a minute or so, and wonderfully answered again by Stuart. Is this the end of the legal Ripple case?
Needs to be paid in 30 days, and we will do that. The SEC certainly has the option to pursue an appeal. I think they've got 60 days to make that determination. But again, we're focused on the finality that this order gives Ripple. We want to focus on continuing to grow our business both globally and domestically. We like the clarity that this lawsuit and the outcome of this lawsuit has provided to us, and that's where we're going to be focused on. And again, if the SEC is a rational actor, and they are, and this administration truly is serious about hitting the reset button on their war on crypto, there should be no appeal, and everybody should be moving on.
So I sure hope Stuart's right. But a couple of things he said there. He said, let's hope that the SEC's rational actors. Let's hope that the administration, they move forward and there is not essentially an attack on crypto and digital assets. And it kind of made me chuckle just a little bit, because this is what we saw today. So I am trying to stay impartial. I really am. But it seems to me, and we can talk about this in the Q&A or throw it in the comments. I'm only talking about the stance of the politicians as it pertains to crypto and digital assets. I don't want to talk about the border. I don't want to talk about the violence, because that is a topic for another channel for all politics. But as politics as it relates to which administration is really supporting crypto, first of all, it's RFK Jr. He's the best, in my opinion. But there was a roundtable, and Tyler Winklevoss put a little post that says, hey, can anyone explain why Kamala Harris didn't attend the crypto roundtable yesterday? I understand that she's on the campaign trail, but the meeting was virtual. All she needed was an internet connection. And look, maybe she's busy, but she couldn't even show up to the Nashville event. I think that would have been something. And it's pretty much she's been on MIA moving forward. Now, there was other people in her administration that actually went to the round table. And as I understand, it was a shouting match, not by the administration, but by the individuals who were invited on the crypto side. So there is that. But if you think that Harris and her administration is going to be good, I can't say one way or the other, but the information that I'm looking at is twofold. First of all, if we're taking a look at the election forecast, it looks like Harris might actually pull this out. And this is information this isn't from some study or a poll. This is from Polymarket, which is where people can pretty much bet on who's going to win. And this was put out by a friend of the show, Nick, over at Coin Bureau. He says, so Harris isn't only leading the polls, he's also ahead in prediction markets and is apparently considering a heavily anti-crypto Treasury secretary. And the hits keep coming. Axios reports VP Harris considering Wally Adeyemo. Nailed it. For Treasury Secretary. This is the deputy secretary who called digital asset firms a clear and present danger for national security. So look, we will see where this actually goes. But if you'd like to take a look at Polymarket, it's pretty cool. I mean, you can actually do the election forecast and kind of gamble on that if you really want to. And it's a pretty neat, slick setup. You can, I linked in the description. You just connect your wallet. I have my MetaMask wallet itself. Right now you can see that Trump is, a little bit of, it's pretty much neck and neck. It changes. But on the Senate side, and again, this is gamblers. This isn't like we're taking a poll at like Wisconsin in some retirement home. It's just people essentially betting. And that's what they think for Republicans and Democrats. And I was like, ooh, this is cool. I got to get in on this. So I actually tried to sign up. And irony of ironies, the depositing is unavailable in your region. So I don't know who's getting into this, but right now I'm in Texas. So I don't know if you guys can do it. Let me know what happens in the comment section. But for that piece, what Stuart was talking about, as far as cooler heads and administrations, it's not coming from the Harris administration. I just don't think so. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a total 180 tomorrow, and it's anybody's guess. So then to finish this up, this is probably my favorite part, what Stuart talks about. He says, how does this affect crypto market in general and how we do this moving forward? And what I liked about this one is Mr. Alderati pretty much says it's either, like I said, it's either corruption or incompetence on the SEC. So just take a listen. This is about a couple minutes long, and come back in a second.
Yeah, I think it has a tremendous impact, positive for Ripple, and a tremendous impact, positive for the industry more broadly. Ripple, when we were first sued in December of 2020, as I noted earlier, we said, look, we're going to defend this case, not only because we think that allegations that are being made against our company are wrong-minded, and we think ultimately they're not going to be able to survive judicial scrutiny, but we're going to defend it on behalf of the entire crypto industry, because we knew that we were the tip of the sword. We knew that the SEC would start with Ripple and then start working their way down and bring litigation and lawsuits and enforcement actions against the rest of the industry. I'm not sure everyone believed us 4 years ago. Everyone believes us now, because that's exactly the playbook that the SEC has sought to advance. And what do we now know? We know through our case, the court has found that the SEC was not engaging in a faithful allegiance to the law. That's a quote. We know in the Bitcoin ETF case, another court found that the SEC was acting arbitrarily and capriciously. We know that there was a federal judge in Utah that sanctioned the SEC for engaging in outright fraudulent misrepresentations to the court. So this war on crypto has really skewed the SEC's core mission and skewed their commitment to kind of stick to their lanes in their jurisdiction. And what we need as a country is to hit the reset button. And what we really should be focusing on is creating clear laws, rules, and regulations so this industry can thrive in the United States, just as it is thriving outside of the United States.
Yeah. So everybody who is an XRP holder, like, look, in 2017, I bought it. I bought into it. I sold some along the way, tried a DCA, wasn't really working, especially after the lawsuit. And I sold, and I have a little bit, so it's not like I'm like the guy to talk to about diamond handsing XRP. But you know, he makes a good point. And if you think about it, because XRP holders, you would have absolutely crushed it, I think, in the last bull market if it wasn't for the SEC stepping in and spooking the markets. They really screwed you guys. They screwed you guys heavily. And what's interesting to me is listen to Stuart in the next piece, because he's going to talk about, and this is the last section, he's going to talk about just how Ripple has adapted and how well they've done in actually regulated markets. So it's not just about that, like, you know, we're just this wild, wild west. We don't want regulations. We're actually begging for them. We just can't get them. And the reason why we can't get them is because the people that are in charge will not allow that to actually happen. There's something extremely odd going on, and I will leave that up to you to decide what that actually is. But this last piece, just take a listen. Like I said, I was actually quite surprised that they're flourishing in other markets, in which not too surprising, but how they're doing it. Take a listen.
Well, since December of 2020, Ripple has grown our business exponentially, but 90% of that growth has occurred offshore, in Singapore, in the EU, in London, in Dubai, in Brazil, all under regulatory supervision and with regulatory permission. Unfortunately, the ability to grow our business in the US has been hamstrung, and the ability to grow crypto in the US has been hamstrung. So these jobs, these tax dollars, these great minds that are backing and developing this innovation, they're all moving offshore. So we need a clear set of laws, rules, and regulations in the US for crypto. The SEC appointing themselves, self-appointing themselves as the crypto cop on the beat for this industry has been a failed strategy. As we prove it in our case, their jurisdictional reach has limits, and they can't supervise industries, or they can't supervise transactions that are not in and of themselves security transactions. And simply calling crypto securities because you want to supervise it doesn't make crypto a security, and that's what we have established clearly in our case. So we're very invested in a good policy outcome. We engage on both sides of the aisle on this, and we're hoping, again, that the combination of our litigation outcome, the combination of the election season we're in, we can really see a reset button here, and we can finally move away from wasting tax dollars on victimless charges in courts and building a rational and practical framework for the crypto industry in the United States.
It is a waste, and that's it. So look, let me know what you think about all those things we just talked about in the comments section. And just to bring this home, Gary Gensler, he keeps taking losses. I'm doing this video about Toncoin and the DNS, and I tried to buy GaryGensler.ton, and I was like, wow, Gary Gensler, he got owned by Ripple, and now somebody in the Ton ecosystem owns his name. Amazing. Guy keeps losing. And then also, as a reminder, we all want to be part of community, but remember, what's rule number 5? You take profits. You take profits because nobody ever went broke taking profits. So just because that we hear about this and it's going to be great, just remember that your goal, well, whatever your goal is, I don't know what it is because I can't tell you because everybody's journey is a little bit different. But just remember that at some point, maybe you want to take some profits. I don't want you to be exit liquidity and move off from there. And then as a reminder, people will take profits. This is from Whale Alert. Looks like 17.7 million XRP, or only about 11 million or so, was transferred from an unknown wallet to Bitstamp. I don't think they're doing that just for giggles, probably to dump it. And that's their right. And I applaud that individual, whoever that whale is, probably Brad, just kidding. And getting those gains or subsidizing those losses. And lastly, just what Stuart talked about, he said, we need to move forward. We need to have framework and stop wasting US dollars. You know what the funny thing is about all this stuff we just talked about was that it doesn't matter if Gary Gensler wins or loses the court case, you still lose. The investors still lose even if they win that court case. And also, you know who else loses? It's the taxpayer, because the taxpayer, which will be you and me, we have to pay those taxes. And yes, even though I live in Puerto Rico, I still pay personal taxes. I still pay corporate tax. I still pay real estate tax. Those taxes go to the SEC, which they use to take companies to court, which screw you out of profits. So you're down in that, but you still got to pay those taxes. So I thought to myself, well, how about we can get a class action lawsuit to be created by investors of Ripple and XRP to sue the SEC for massive financial losses related to their fraudulent case against Ripple. And I thought about this. I didn't think it's a bad idea, but guess who's paying for that? The taxpayers. And that's it for today. So look, it's kind of awful. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. Now, if you want to go over some Q&A, and I see some spicy comments in the section, we'll go over that. But if you got to take off, relax, enjoy it. I think it's going to be shaky for a while, but I think we're in the right place at the right time. Anyhow, let's jump into a little Q&A. So I started some here, and then the Real PG, which I saw a bunch of comments. Real PG, I don't think he's a fan of XRP or Ripple. He said, hey, XRP is dead, still is dead, always will end dead. I mean, it hasn't been much growth, but I mean, for us, as far as price appreciation, but if what they're talking about as far as in other markets and in a regulatory framework, they can do that, maybe they'll start to thrive moving forward. I have to tell you, I'm not for sure. I don't keep up with XRP or Ripple. Maybe you could follow other people, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention. So it's anybody's guess. And that's with pretty much 99% of the crypto market. I think who knows what's going to make it, who knows what's not. I think the only thing that's a lock for at least the next 10, 20 years would be Bitcoin. And that's why I have 70% of my portfolio into that. So anyhow, and then there was 2 comments, which they seem contradictory, but they're actually correct. One was from Paul. He says, I sold all my XRP and glad I did. I made $0 in the past 4 years. And Paul's right, because I'm guessing Paul did what I did, which was when I was buying stocks or equities, I bought towards the top around 2021 because I was like, oh, I'm a genius. And what did I do? I didn't do anything with it for the next 2.5, 3 years. when it actually hit its all-time high again. And since I didn't do it, it just went from here, cratered down, and then jumped back up, and it was the same. Didn't do anything for it. It was a total waste of money. The only way this works, this is why we're always talking about this, is that even if you buy the top and it starts to crater, you start buying as it goes down, because then your cost basis decreases, and then you can do what David did, which is I'm up on XRP about 40%. Why is that? Probably because he was dollar cost averaging. So that makes total sense. And that's why I just don't understand why people don't get that. But sometimes, actually, I do, because sometimes even though you dollar cost average, like the example I give, a dash of salt, go take a look at dash and salt. See how you would have done dollar cost averaging over that time frame. Anyhow, TNT, what's your sole price prediction this bull run? Solana will be somewhere between $5 and $1 million per Solana coin. If you'd like to see a better prediction, go take a look at Ben's website, Into the Cryptoverse. There's these things called time and risk bands. And they'll pretty much tell you like what's the lowest, least risky. I think it's around like $17 or something. And it'll give you like a top out. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but because it changes all the time. So go check out that website. Links in the description. Oleg, XRP has been here longer than many people in this chat. It's very true, actually. XRP's been around forever. I want to say, like I remember when I got in 2017, it was one of the few that made sense to me, actually, because I was coming from TradFi. And I want to say 2015? I don't remember. But yeah, we'll see. Let's see. XRP holders hate profits. I don't know if they hate profits, but they're just holding on because it can go to 589, just like that stupid meme thing, that bull, like missing information stuff that gets put out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's like this bear and these XRP individuals. I think it's a joke now, but they used to actually believe that it was giving clues to what was happening. And they're like, oh, the bear, it was on a pole and then it was leaning to the left, which means we're going to the right. And I'm like, these are adults. Anyhow, so I think it's got to be a joke, but I think some people actually believed it. Crazy. One soul equals one soul, says EOS Whale Beardy. $100 says, Ben's predictions are bad or obvious. I would like to challenge Ben for the worst prediction, and I will stick with my Solana that I just gave, between $5 and $1 million. XRP goes up, so does Stellar. Well, of course. One of the original founders of Ripple and XRP is one that created Stellar. Made out like a bandit too. The bearded bull. Yeah. Richie says, do you hold any Bitcoin proxies? I don't. Well, no, it's not true. I do own some Mara Bitcoin mining, but I don't own any MicroStrategy. And looks to be a pretty great one to hold. They've been really crushing it. So, yeah, good for those guys. If you put Grandmaster B, who was eating chocolate cereal this morning or this afternoon, says, if you put Rob on playback speed, half sound, he sounds really drunk, which is opposed to what I sound like on Saturday nights, which is full speed, still really drunk. Nah, just kidding. I don't really drink that much anymore. But in the military days, whew, all right. Thank you, where dogs strive. I have to agree with you. Ben likes dishing out fear or reality, one of those two. Jed McCaleb, that's right. He did make out well. John, you are absolutely correct. Thank you for your service. He was the one that was essentially dumping on all the XRP holders because he was in an allocation for years and getting this XRP, and there was like, and people would say, it's not that bad, which I don't care what you do. If you take profits, take profits. But man, those guys really took the brunt of it. Uzi says, Rob, do you share with anyone how many Bitcoin you have? My wife, that's about it. But no, you never, ever share with how much crypto or digital assets you have. I just read, let me show you this story. And this is why you're never going to tell anybody how much crypto you have. You say, I got some crypto, but it's not doing so good. That's what we really all should say. This was from Costa Rica. And I haven't verified its authenticity, but I've heard of other things going on around the world. It says 11 Israelis visiting Costa Rica were attacked by 8 men who overpowered their security guard and robbed them of $700,000 worth of Bitcoin. First of all, that's a really junk security guard. Kind of like the Secret Service agent for the Donald Trump attempted assassination. Analysis of surveillance footage leads investigators to suspect the robbers are current or former police. So, yeah, first of all, if they robbed them of $700,000 worth of Bitcoin, that's sketchy. That's dubious at best. Sketchy. How the hell do they do that? The only way they would do that is that it's not like you're like, oh, here's my wallet, here's my Bitcoin. The only way they would know how to do that is like, do you have your Ledger wallet with you? First of all, why the hell would you have your Ledger wallet if you're traveling to Costa Rica and you're doing a vacation? I mean, this still doesn't make any sense. So unless they were, I don't know, bound up and they got this secret phrases, the passphrases from family members, I don't know. But regardless, there's other stories that make more sense and people have gotten ripped off for their crypto. So don't tell anybody what you have. Never, ever tell anybody how much you have. Yeah, bearable bull. There we go. Holy smokes. Fishing better. I got my first Bitcoin at $600 in a poker game, but lost in a poker game a week later. That sounds like all my friends from Las Vegas. Hey, Pete, how you doing for this week? I'm up like 10 grand. How you doing for this month? I'm down 50. But boy, last weekend was awesome. Yeah, yep. New Type says Monero is peer-to-peer and private gas fees on Bitcoin aren't realistic. If you think Bitcoin can be global money, no, it can't. So Bitcoin cannot be global money per se, especially as we start to see it maybe potentially put on the balance sheet of central banks. And that could go into effect January 1st, 2025, or it becomes legal tender around for actual more countries besides El Salvador. The only way this actually works is a layer 2 solution. And I would direct your attention, if you're looking for layer 2 solutions on Bitcoin, which I think could actually work pretty well. It's the most stable and most secure, decentralized, computerized platform on the entire planet. Am I wrong? What I'd like you to look at is, well, you can always look at Stacks, right? Stacks is a good one, but there's a top 100 layer 2 solution called Core for payments and smart contracts and a whole host of things. And actually, I don't know how is it done? Over the last year, it's been up. Oh, wow. But it hasn't really launched not too long ago. So take a look at Core, take a look at Stacks. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones out there, but that's the ones that are in the top 100. That's the only ones I really mess around with these days. So, but New Type's right. I think it's very difficult. And people will say, what about Lightning? What about Lightning? It's been around forever. It seems like it's very, very slow adoption. So hedge your bets. Maybe it's going to be a layer 2 solution. Maybe it's going to be something else. I don't know. Yeah, John's right. If you tell others to become a target, no one wants to be a target, man. Mr. Tech, lost all my crypto in a boating accident. This happens a lot. Sorry. This just lost. Ledger just fell overboard. Nas says, don't share how much money you have with your wife either. First in experience. I can't argue with Nas. I know some of his backstory. I will say this. Some people would, I know some people in the comment section will say, hey, Rob, I'm down like 30%. Should I tell my wife? I'm like, absolutely not. What are you, crazy? So I can't give you financial advice, but I can give you some kind of relationship advice that hopefully will keep you at the doghouse. Don't say anything. What are you, crazy? You're insane? Here's what you do. Just wait, right? Imagine if you would have told your significant other, hey, babe, we're down 30%. Sorry about that. Can't pay mortgages. All you got to do is wait 48 hours and it bounced all the way back. There you go. So just the only time you tell your wife, if you're talking about negatives, and she's not an investor herself, like my wife, she dollar cost averages crypto. So it's not a big deal. But all you got to do is when you're up massively, then you start bragging about it. Don't tell her how much you're down. Sweet Mary and Joseph, don't do that. But I haven't ordered 69 t-shirts with screenshots on my Phantom wallet. That sounds good to me. Sounds good to me, bot. Ask, economies fall, crime will rise, keep quiet what you have. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't say it any better, any bigger. Patrick says, we, the XRP Army, are tougher than Cleveland football fans. Go XRP. Definitely the most stubborn, I'll tell you that. They all had Tangem rings. That was it. Yeah, Tangem. So I like Tangem. I have a banner right here. They don't pay me for the banner, but they do pay me for affiliate links. So down there, if you want to get a Tangem for a cold storage device, go right ahead. You don't have to use it, but then I don't get anything. And you don't get 10% off. So whatever you want to do. But they reach out to me. They go, hey, Rob, we're going to do this Tangem ring. It's going to be awesome. And I was like, I don't get it. Like, why would I put a ring on my hand and walk around with that? And I usually have my phone, which means I have 2 access points. The only 2 access points I actually need for my crypto. I don't want to do that. I mean, I've got like 0.000000001 Bitcoin. I'm not going to jeopardize that. Come on, that's crazy. And no, $5. Hello, JC. How many crypto millionaires have been killed? I don't know, but there was an expose on Forbes, and it laid out like 4 or 5 different individuals. They weren't all Bitcoin millionaires; they were just crypto millionaires, and some were influencers around the world. So yeah, don't get his hopes up, John. Time to dump useless L2 tokens. I don't know. I never really. I mean, I hold some layer 2 solutions for Ethereum, but man, when you start to use some of these layer 1s that actually just work, like Toncoin and Solana and Near and Cardano, then you know what I'm talking about, right? So, we'll see. Makes it easier for me. Let's see. Caspa. Oh, I didn't know that. Isn't the top 20 without any tier 1 exchange listings? How? Good question. Ask Da Vinci. Jeremy Da Vinci. He's the one that loves it and talks about Caspa and says you got to stop sleeping on it. I own some, but just not as much as him. Yeah. Tex says, best answer when the wife asks about how crypto is going, study. And then she comes back and says, hey, it's down 30%. You're like, yeah, steadily straight down. Boom. Hey, that's what you got to do. Sir Cat says, my wife has no idea of crypto, but my kids do. Perfectly. Perfect. Hopefully, and of course, that next generation of crypto investors are going to be the one that are going to be way ahead of us, right? I don't know where you're from, but in America, they don't teach a lot of economics. They don't teach about inflation. They don't teach about the Federal Reserve. They don't teach about CPI and Fed rates and such like that. They just don't. I mean, you can learn about it in college if you want to go that route, but it's just not taught. I think the only way that this actually turns around, inflation, why Bitcoin's so important, crypto digital assets, is because of us when we teach our kids. So yeah, that's the good thing. J2 Day says, Rob, which one of the coins are the most bullish on? As far as risk versus reward, obviously Bitcoin. I am bullish on, I'm bullish on Solana. I'm still bullish on Cardano, and I'm bullish on Ton, and I'm bullish on Near. But like the most bullish, like risk rewards is always Bitcoin, always. Second one is like a toss up between like Solana and Ton, quite honestly. And then third is somewhere like the Cardano Nears, but it's all pretty close. Because I don't know, they could come out with some rocking great new technology tomorrow that they were keeping under wraps, or there's some huge announcements from Amazon or Walmart or something like that. So you never know. And you never know what can pump it up. Oh, no kidding. Those dudes in Costa Rica had a Tangent ring. Yeah, probably. Who knows? Yeah, I like Near. And I like the people behind it. Ashley says, softball Amy, agree. Ledger is annoying to use. Tangent so much user. Oh, yeah. Very, very easy to use. A little too easy. But yeah, it's very slick. And it doesn't, It just works. That's why. Anyhow, if you're wondering like what the hell's a tangent, there's a link in the description of a video I did. It's about 25 minutes, and we go over the pros and cons, why tangent I feel is better, and why it just works, and go from there. And also, as a reminder, 1 million plus users, 0 hacks. So they don't teach that. HFSP, which for the uninitiated stands for have fun staying poor. I do love that one. Yeah, they want us to be stupid. Phishing's absolutely correct, but easier to control, right? That's why lamestream media does what they do. Hey, I got a question for everybody, not to go off topic, but has anybody in America heard what's going on in the UK? Has anything been actually covered on the mainstream media about the riots and things that are going on? I can't get a sense of what it is. I hear conflicting stories on X. So just let me know in the comments, because it just seems like it's like a digression of society from what I've seen. Ugh. Rob, did you get your Voyager money yet? Ian, I did. I think it was this week or last week? Got a little check. And like I said, never do that again. It's a good reminder. But, we're still not 100% whole. But, hey, we're farther than we are with those Celsius boobs. Celsius, those guys, I mean, if you want to find out what's going on, just follow Aaron Bennett, Aaron, or Aaron Bennett, and Cam Cruz, and Simon Dixon. And there's a new video out. I haven't watched it yet from Aaron Bennett. Let me show you, which talks about Ionic Digital, which is the one that pretty much took over for the mining operation for Celsius, and how there's some further turmoil. So if you're into Celsius like I was and have money stuck on there like I do, watch this video. I'm going to guess it's not awesome about what Ionic Digital is up to. So, yeah. Crypto Stevo says, Tangible Arculus. I had the Arculus. It was fine. It just didn't really resonate with me. Tangem, I like it for a couple of reasons. Watch that video and you decide. I can't tell you which way. You are a saint. Talk to my wife. She will tell you the exact opposite. Let's see. I wish I jumped in a ton. Yeah, we all do. So I'm doing this video. I talked about this yesterday, or a couple of days ago, actually. And it's all about how Ton or Telegram is becoming a super app. And what they're doing is they're using Ton as their premier currency, because obviously, right? Ton and the open network and Telegram. So I'm putting together this, it's a presentation. And I'm going to go over, because there's a thing called mini apps, and I'm going over a ton of different things. But wallets, which, surprise, for the custodial wallet, we can't use in America, but we can use Tonkeeper. I'm going to talk about the free AI stuff, the play deck. There's also ones that you can do for, like, there's a one called mobile where you can buy an eSIM, and essentially you can have a VPN in China, or you can say that, I mean, you can use this eSIM and essentially be like, yeah, this is where I'm from China, or I'm from Bangladesh, or I'm from wherever you want in the country. And that's what eSIMs can do. AI for losing weight, Opulus Freelance, which is for like defining like jobs and side hustles in the crypto market. Oh, this is a good one. Coin Creator. In like 5 steps, you can create your own coin on Ton. It's super easy, super fast, and it costs like 2 cents to do. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm going over all that hopefully this week. So that's why I'm so big on Ton, because it just makes a lot of sense. Oh, also, did you know Telegram has 950 million users? They just rolled out ads. And guess how you pay for ads on Telegram? With Toncoin. That's it. So I can see it. Like, you guys just came into YouTube. Guess how much they pay? I used to buy ads on YouTube for my other companies. And then it got more expensive. And there's a reason why, because that's where the eyeballs are. Now, YouTube, I think, has 2.3 or 2.5 billion individuals watching them every day, but Telegram's pretty close, almost 1 billion. So whatever. Ashley says it's the Big S show in the UK. That sucks. Sorry. Hope everybody's, it's awful. Hope everybody's making it out of okay. Zero news on mainstream media. Total disaster in the UK for natives. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, ask your UK friends. See what they say. And Nas says it right. 70% better than 0% back for Voyager. Absolutely. I was surprised. They actually clawed back a chunk from Three Arrows Capital, those crooks. Yeah, the governor's cracking down on citizen dissenters. Did you know? I don't know if this is true. This is what I see on Twitter. So, community notes can only do so much. That if you are in the UK and you post about the riots, that you can be arrested. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that's what I've seen. Yeah. Perry says, Big Boy looks swole at karate combat. Hey, good for him, man. Hopefully you're talking about swole like muscles. I don't watch TV. Betty, you're not missing much. I'll tell you that. Richie says, it was biblical. The people came on the streets and squashed the troublemakers without too much violence. Excellent. Thoughts on what happens with Bitcoin as Russia legalizes? So I just saw that snippet, Russia legalizing Bitcoin. I don't know if this is for trade or if this is for mining. Hold on. My thoughts are always the same. If it's trade or mining, it doesn't really matter. It looks like they can trade it. This is good for Bitcoin, and this is bad for the US dollar. Right? Because if you're Russia, and maybe you are exporting petroleum products, oil, to say, I don't know, China, or across in India, or wherever else it is, maybe you don't want to use the US dollar. Maybe you're sick of being sanctioned. Maybe you say, we'll take Bitcoin. And it's the same point. See, that's why I think the politicians right now, some are getting it and some are not getting it. Once that starts to really take hold and you're able to use that, because Bitcoin's actually, I mean, for day-to-day operations isn't great, right? I can't buy, I'm not going to go, whatever the fee is. Let's say it's $1 to transfer Bitcoin from one wallet to another. I'm not talking about Lightning. And coffee costs $4. Well, that's a heck of a markup, right? But let's say that you are in China and you're like, yeah, I'd like to buy 10,000 barrels of oil. And it's X amount of hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever billions. And you just send one transaction and it costs you $1. Who cares? So for that one, I can totally see where that would actually make it. And then it becomes the actual best trading asset you can possibly get on the planet. And America will be left behind because people are short-sighted in government. Yeah. Benzax says, anyone have the Ledger Stacks yet? I don't. I heard it's supposed to come out. Looks cool. But yeah, I got you, man. Yeah, the Stacks looks cool. Nice little touchscreen, but I haven't seen anybody yet. Oh, Lord Smith says they covered it on CNN. Great. I don't watch CNN, but from what I understand, everybody says that it hasn't been covered much at all. Wow. In UK, people are being arrested for retweeting content as hateful. Again, I don't know if this is true. This is just from Oleg. He might be true. See, there you go. Not true. It's more complicated than that. There you go. And of course, every time I bring up something in social, it always devolves. Wow. I can't even say that on the show. There we go. There's one thing related to crypto. Hey, Russia, leave our dollar alone. Our government and the Federal Reserve don't help hurting it. That's the quote of the day, I think, for everything we just talked about. I'm just going to wrap it up there. So, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up on your way out. That'd be great. You can subscribe, but it's not like YouTube is going to notify you. So that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow, probably super early because I got some things going on. But thanks to everybody. I appreciate you. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of the day and the weekend. Adios.